What's going on, everyone? I'm sure you can read, so I'm not even going to bother with the introductions or the title of the video. The fact that you clicked on this video in the first place proves that you have the mentality to improve and actually get good at the game, and thankfully this guy is about as in-depth as it's going to get in terms of duo showdown. This video is more or less something I've been working on here and there since quarantine started, but until recently never had a reason to really finish it. With the new update around the corner and ammo changes and tanks alike getting overhauled,
from 50% to 75%.
I think would be a good time to teach and invite new players into the duo skill set and how to truly quote-unquote go pro in duo. Most of the information in this video is what I've been learning for the past 4 years playing this mode, as well as large amounts of advice from other world record holders who originally taught me how to truly improve the game mode and get good. Some qualifications I have and achievements I have is, first of all, I'm a beta player. I've been playing since 2017. I've peaked number 4 in the US and number 71 global in March 2020. I had the world record Carl for about 6 months as of recording this in June 2021. I am the X-World Record Jackie set in April 2020. I am the 2-week season NA trophy record holder and the top 10 highest single brawlers, as well as Carl ranked 35 8 times, Brock ranked 35 3 times, and 16 ranked 35 in total on my main account. I am no means a pro player at all. In fact, there are many better players than me, but I'm definitely not entirely trash, at least when it comes to duo showdown. A couple of y'all may be asking why am I making this video, and the primary reason is how few really believe me when I say duos is a lot less RNG than you think. There are actually a surprising amount of factors that are in your control to become a better player and win more consistently. A brief list of some of these topics to improve on consists of aim, positioning, game sense, mindset, time investment, teamwork, communication, flexibility, consistency. It all has to do with improving and getting better at it, and all of these factors combined will improve your win rate significantly. I'll also be going further in depth on each one of these concepts later, but you know, we'll get to that. So yeah, it just frustrates me to see that players don't think they can actually improve any further or are incapable of getting a rank 35, as well as hopefully potentially curb the toxic teaming duo meta that we're having to deal with right now, showing players how to actually improve instead of resorting to spinning, which is you know, it's for stinky clown losers. We hate them. All right, so with the overview finally out of the way, let's get it. Alright, so what actually makes a good player good? We can take a look at many examples of high-level players and all of their unique playstyles and strategies, but every pro has a short list of things in common, and I bet you can guess what those are. Yeah, that's right, it's the short list that we mentioned earlier, believe it or not. I know, crazy. Yep, it's come back to haunt us. But seriously, if you even attain to go pro or simply improve, having these core fundamentals memorized and completely understanding what they are is a must. Another thing I feel I need to mention is that I'm not going to be holding your hand through this guide. This guide is more or less me teaching you how to teach yourself. A lot of these methodologies are pretty high level and won't be as easy for not as skilled players to understand. It's more of a guide for already decent players trying to really get to the next level. These are actually the same methods that Overwatch League coaches use to train their players, that I was lucky enough to learn from other pros I talked to while playing the game. A lot of these ideas aren't really new or anything, or nothing I came up with, but I'm just translating the most effective methods to Brawl Stars. Because of these ideas, it completely reapproached how I improved at anything in general, and specifically video games, and I would give a large part of this to where I am today in terms of, you know, world record Carl, hehe. Alright, final thing I need to clarify before we can actually get into this, but I need you to drill this into your head. Absolutely drill into your head. Remember it any way you can, okay? So, what is the one thing you can control in the game? It's yourself. Whose fault is it that you lost the game? It's yourself. Does blaming your teammates help you improve? No, it doesn't. Blaming your teammates is absolutely, positively useless. Sure, okay, the Tara wasted her pull 4 times and died, and your primo teammate jumped into the gas the entire game. Okay, sucks. But you can't control your brain-dead teammates. Blaming them does nothing but waste your energy, puts everyone in a bad mindset, and tilts you. It is never the random's fault. Sure, it can be the random's fault, but it's never the random's fault. I'll go into this more in the mindset portion of the guide, but it's very important to have a brief overview of it. Alright, cool. Hopefully you've either taken a screenshot or memorized that entire last frame, because a lot of this guide and any kind of improvement in anything kind of relies on it. Once you have at least a vague idea what each of the categories means, go turn on your screen recorder and find a game. Take your first loss and review it. You're not allowed to cherry pick losses. Cherry picking losses proves a fixed and stubborn mindset that shows you blame your teammates, which is the opposite kind of mindset you want and the direction that we want to go in. You also can't learn as much from watching wins compared to losses. Knowing what went wrong is way more valuable than knowing what went right. You perform only as good as you do in your worst. After watching, possible multiple times, rate yourself. For the sake of this guide, I'm going to use the 0 to 3 system. Level 0 can automatically be ruled out, since simply understanding and knowing what the topic is and that it exists is already level 1. We talked about what makes good players good, and the traits you need to have, so you should already have at least a 1 in every category mentioned. First topic, aiming, the most controlling skill set that makes a player good. You can aim well and you can hit your shots consistently, you're arguably a good player. So level 1 in aiming would be that you know that having a good aim is important, but despite that, you still auto-aim and cannot hit shots consistently. Level 2 is you have the ability to hit shots consistently in game and can read movement patterns occasionally, but you still can't get it all the time, and a lot of players are still able to dodge you. And number 3 is has the ability to hit crucial shots in game and read movement patterns consistently. So this means you're very consistent at it. You're definitely better than the average player. Obviously all these definitions are in the air and they're kind of arbitrary, but a 1, 2, 3 system is kind of just like the baselines of teaching yourself and having the ability to create examples like these in the future. Alright, excuse me, second topic, positioning. Once again, arguably one of the most controlling factors in what makes a player good. Level 1 would be knowing that good positioning is important, but you're not able to recognize or able to reposition yourself mid-game on what is a good position and how to capitalize off of it. Level 2 is understanding what good positioning is and spots that are good. For example, bottom left on double trouble, fantastic position. Certain spots on very rotation based maps such as Forsaken Falls and Thousand Lakes. Positioning in level 3 would be you're actively able to reposition yourself mid-game depending on the scenario. For example, if you're getting pinched by 2 teams, you can see an opportunity with Dynamite to jump across the bridge because there's no teams on the left side of the map on 1,000 Lakes. So game sense is kind of one of those things that's kind of hard to define, but as most players can't really know it, it's just knowledge of the game. So level 1 would be, obviously you know the strengths, the weaknesses, and the abilities, such as the super gadget and basic attack, but more than that, you have a pretty basic understanding of it. Level 2 would be understanding the concepts such as super saving, when not to waste supers and gadget, composition, synergies, etc., etc. And level 3 would be you're able to predict the enemy's attacks, supers, gadgets consistently, and you're able to recognize enemies that are out of position and punish them for it. So level 3, obviously this is being able to kill like teams very, very rapidly and being able to notice when one of the 2 steps out of position, you're able to capitalize on one of them. Say you're playing a max pick falls out of position 1 second, uses a gadget. Okay, he's immediately out of position because his gadget's on cooldown. So stuff like that. Mindset is, in my opinion, the #1 thing to do with improvement. Maybe not in Brawl Stars because obviously aiming and positioning exists, but mindset overall and in general has the most to do with improvement overall. The first rank would be thinks mindset has nothing to do with your rank. You don't get tilted, you don't get affected by tilting, you get angry easily, you blame your teammates. Bad, terrible mindset. Level 2 is that realizing mindset correlates to rank, but you're not able to actively practice it. So you're still toxic, you still tilt very easily. If your random shoots you or gets mad at you, you get mad back and will throw the game. Level 3 is that you have a healthy, self-critical, self-assessing mindset. You're able to ignore randoms who make bad mistakes, who are out of position, who die a lot. You don't get tilted by your bad randoms. You're non-toxic. You have a growth mindset. You'd rather learn from mistakes. instead of getting mad over them. That is a healthy mindset, and that's what you really want to have. So for a lot of people, these next categories are pretty free. It's mainly just the roots of what makes up, well, like what you need to practice of strategy and what makes a player good. So the first one's time investment. Obviously, you need to practice and invest time in the game to get any kind of good at it. So level 1 would be you invest barely any time, mostly very casual players. Pushes to 500 and then stops. Only pushes like below 500. Number 2 would be has free time and invest it into Brawl Stars. Although you may play mini games at once, so you play Brawl Stars, but it's not your primary game. You know, it's just one of those things you do on the side occasionally. Just get the tokens, just do the quest for the day, and you're done. Number 3 would be plays a lot, actively practices, and takes some of these methods into play. You do VOD reviews, you watch your own gameplay and see what you're able to fix. With retrospect, the power of retrospect is so powerful, and being able to see what could have happened, so good. You also watch pro players, you watch YouTube videos, and you play the game a lot. This is probably a lot of people that are watching this video, because if you really care about the game and you actually want to get better, obviously you're going to be wanting to play the game a lot. Teamwork, it's probably pretty free for most people here. I mean, teamwork is pretty self-explanatory, but at the same time, some people understand the basics, but really don't understand how powerful playing as a team, especially in duo, can really work. It really mainly depends on comps, but you know how that is. So level 1 would be you play the game like a lone wolf. You run away from your teammate, you go off and do your own thing, don't really care if you die. You often die alone, both in game and outside of game, and you have no composition or synergy. So this is usually playing with randoms that you can't control comps with, but I'm assuming most people don't really play with randoms if you're watching this video. So rank 2 would be knowing basic composition synergies like Gene Max, Max Tick, Bell Byron, and you understand what makes them so what is so powerful about their synergy and why they work so well together. Level 3 would be constantly tries to work with their teammates, and their plans that they make usually work out, tries to create strategies with their teammates on the go, and oftentimes these strategies succeed and you're able to win the game because of them. So teamwork's one of those things. Obviously you learn more as you play the game, but this is just a good baseline for it. Communication, once again, relatively free for some people. So level 1 would be you never use in-game chat or you voice call. Neither, you don't communicate with your teammate at all. Once again, this is usually playing with randoms. Number 2 would be uses game chat, but you don't call. So you're able to tell your teammate what to do and make plans inside or outside of the game, but when it comes to callouts and active plays, you're not able to do that. Level 3 would be effectively makes callouts that are accurate and makes plans with their teammates throughout the game. So obviously you're in a voice call on Discord, whatever that is, and you're making plans as you go with the game, adapting to what the game has. Communication can be really valuable, especially when your opponents are actually high level. If you're playing against randoms or people who aren't very good, callouts doesn't really matter that much. Against other good players, matters way more. Flexibility is another one of those things that should be pretty free for all of y'all, just because of how Brawl Stars is designed, and the trophy system is based off specific brawlers instead of an overall system. For example, in games like Overwatch or League of Legends, your SR or skill rating or whatever is overall, so you can play whatever character you want, it just gradually goes up. So this would encourage more one-tricking and more people maining certain characters and really not expanding the variety. Brawl Stars has the trophy system, which naturally encourages players to try out new brawlers, as well as the quest system, which once again it encourages you to try out new brawlers and experience their mechanics. So naturally, most players should be pretty flexible. So level 1 would be you can only play a few brawlers decently. So that's like 4, you can play decently. I don't know what I would consider decent, that's pretty arbitrary, but I would say like 750 or something. Flexibility level 2 would be you can play multiple brawlers decently. Multiple. So you can play a large cast decently. You don't have to play everyone decently, but I would say you can play like 30 of the brawlers decently. And level 3 would be you're exceptional on your main brawlers, very consistent, winning games extremely easily and very, very consistently, and you're decent on the other characters. Obviously, this game has, 48 characters or something like that now, about to have like 50 or something. You don't need to main everyone, you just need to be good on a few brawlers. Why be like an average Joe at everyone when you can be a god at a couple? Like, consistency. So You know, consistency is how much you're how
What you do, you
well, you know, I'll just explain it. So level 1 is you're very inconsistent. You either throw the game or you barely earn your spot in the team. So I mean, whether that be camping in a bush, or you know, killing yourself for cubes, or you miss shots very often, constantly out of position, not very consistent. You lose more than you win. Level 2 inconsistency would be you win more than you lose, but not by much. You might have a 51% like win rate or something. You have your moments, and you can carry games, but it's not very often, and oftentimes you're struggling. Level 3 would be you can perform close to peak every game, and you can easily stomp worse players and compete with good players with ease. So consistency is the thing I struggle with the most. Oftentimes I get myself in like a mental trap where like I need to prove something, and oftentimes it makes me overthink things. So consistency, I would probably rate myself as a 2 as. Unfortunate as it is, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so pause. Alright, so I want you to now go and take that video, look over it, and find problems with each one of the topics we just went over and assess yourself. Alright, so now that you're done assessing yourself, this little chart I made in Excel is it's a pretty good representation of the expectations I have of players when they're playing at that trophy range with a specific brawler. So if you're playing with max at 1250 plus, I expect you to have greens in every category, at least with that brawler. You might not have it with other brawlers, but at least with that brawler. That's what I expect. Obviously, these ratings aren't set in stone. Like for example, you might have yellow time at 750 to 900, but you might have green consistency or green mindset or green aim. It all depends on the cumulative rating. Every red you get 1 point, and for every yellow you get 2 points, and for every green you get 3 points. Obviously, the higher the score, the better. Alright, so let's see here. I got a cumulative of 18, which means that I would on average be playing 750 to 900 with most of my brawlers. But wait, that's not right. Most of my brawlers are at 500. Huh. This is completely normal. A lot of situations, and including myself, you will just naturally overassess yourself, and that's okay. That is why having a second opinion or having someone else assess your gameplay for you is so key to improving. If you're able to get past the barrier of actually being able to accept and learn from criticism, I guarantee you will learn so much faster. So now that you have your assessment and you've talked to the other person who's reviewed it, so what do you do to actually improve now? So to maximize practicing efficiency, you would want to get your weakest links up first, as it's a lot easier to go from red to yellow than it is to go from yellow to green. And as you go on, review more VODs and ask for improvement from your VOD reviewers, you will see change and improvement over time. So that seems to be the rundown and the vast majority of my knowledge on self-assessment and how to teach yourself a skill and how to improve at that skill. Like I said before, most of this knowledge can be applied to basically anything in life, quite honestly, that requires an improvement, but this is more shaped for, you know, Brawl Stars stuff. Part 2 coming soon, y'all. I'm not entirely sure what topic I'm going to cover, but I'm glad I could get into this because this is by far the most important part of improvement, and if you take these practices and use them, I guarantee you eventually you will be a pro.